On Tuesday, tens of thousands of dock workers walked off their jobs after members of the International Longshoremen's Association rejected a contract with the U.S. Maritime Alliance, also known as the USMX, which represents things like the shipping firms. Now, the strikes are over a 6-year master contract that has expired. So now, remember, the longshoremen are basically people that unload the ships, okay? And in case you weren't aware, we depend on a lot of imports, okay? So now this is why mainstream media is automatically framing the strikes as, oh, it's bad, you're going to increase the cost of goods. These greedy longshoremen, they're going to tank the roaring economy. They're going to hurt Kamala Harris's chances of winning the election. No, the thing is, Kamala Harris doesn't have anything to do with this strike, the longshoremen, whatever. And to his credit, Joe Biden has said, I'm staying out of this one. Okay, I'm not going to do Taft-Hartley, all right? He says the two sides should negotiate, okay? And that's good. So now, what is the union asking for? Well, ILA President Harold Daggett has called for significant pay increases for his members and has also said, we need you to cut back and eliminate this automation, okay, that is threatening our jobs. So now, specifically, he's asking for an increase of $5 per year over the life of the 6-year deal, with the top pay going from $39 to about $69 at the end of the 6 years. Nice. And he says, the reason that I'm asking for so much is because the industry is massively profitable and that they have not shared that profit with the workers, with the people who are actually doing the work. So how much profit? It turns out the container shipping industry as a whole has reported profits of over $400 billion since 2020. That amount is believed to have been more than the industry had previously made in total since containerization started back in 1957, according to analyst John McCown. So within 4 years, 2020 to 2024, the industry has made more than they ever had in profits since 1957. So holy crap, they're making hundreds of billions of dollars in profit, these companies, and they're not sharing it with the workers. Well, they're going to have to, okay? Because here's the thing. The workers do an incredibly important job. In fact, more than a third of exports and imports could be affected by the strike, hitting U.S. economic growth to the tune of at least $4.5 billion each week of the strike, according to Grace Zemmer, an associate U.S. economist at Oxford Economics. Others have suggested that the economic hit to the United States could be even higher. So now, and they're very, very important, okay? These longshoremen, these workers. Now, Daggett knows how important his workers are. And so he's like, you know what? We know we're important. So we're going to use our leverage in order to get better pay for our workers. In fact, back in September, he said this, and I love this guy for these quotes. Quote, I will cripple you, and you have no idea what that means. Nobody does. These people today don't know what a strike is. Everything in the United States comes on a ship. And he further went into details of what's going to happen if they strike, okay? First week, it'll be all over the news. Boom, boom, boom. Second week, guys who sell cars can't sell cars because the cars ain't coming in off the ships. They get laid off. Third week, malls start closing down. They can't get goods from China. They can't sell clothes. They can't do this. Everything in the United States comes on a ship. They go out of business. Construction workers get laid off because the materials aren't coming. The steel is not coming in. The lumber is not coming in. They lose their jobs. Everybody is hating the longshoremen now because now they realize how important our jobs are now. Look, he's 100% right. Do I want to see all that stuff happen? No, I don't. I don't want to see an economic slowdown. I don't want prices to go up. I don't want that. You know what I want? For workers to get paid what they're worth, to get their fair share. He's right. And the thing is, he says, look, while our ILA members are battling inflation, trying to pay off their mortgages and send their children to college, our employers and companies are enjoying record profits. That's it. That's it. That's the problem here. The problem isn't the longshoremen that are striking. The problem is the companies that have refused to actually pay well and have tried to circumvent their previous agreement with the longshoremen's, the ILA, with automation. Daggett said, quote, they're in for a rude awakening. Yeah. So look, this had been in the works since talks broke down back in the summertime. Okay. Aside from the pay thing, as I already mentioned, the other big thing is automation here. Now, the ILA says companies have been putting in something called automated gates, right? Which eliminates ILA jobs. They also accuse the companies of employing certain technologies to circumvent their previous master contract by reducing or eliminating jobs held by ILA clerks. Management is also accused of lying about an agreement that stipulates that any new terminals must be manned by the ILA. Daggett says companies like Maersk, which is one of the shipping companies, are repeatedly trying to eliminate ILA jobs with the introduction of automation while raking in billions of dollars. And I just mentioned how profitable these companies are, especially since 2020. So yeah, this is pretty serious, right? It's very serious. Economically, and of course, on the issue of labor rights, because these people know how important they are. And if they're not getting their needs met, if they're not getting a fair share from the companies that they labor for, then they absolutely have the right to strike. Okay, so now the UAW weighed in on this and said that they stand in solidarity with the 45,000 courageous port workers fighting for economic justice. Without their labor, nothing in this country moves. So UAW, Sean Fain, you know how much I really appreciate what he's doing and how strong he has been on the labor front. So I'm glad that unions are now standing in solidarity with other unions in their strikes. That's what we need. We need labor to stand up alongside of labor. So now here's the thing, though. I mentioned already that the media is blaming workers. Okay, media is already saying, "Oh wow, look at the longshoremen. They're really going to have an impact. It's going to cause inflation. It's going to make you pay more." The real perpetrator of this, the reason that this is happening, is because of the companies refusing to share the billions of dollars in profit that they have made off these workers' backs. The dock workers, they know what they're worth. And look, labor is the only tool that people have now, okay? And if you have workers that finally know their worth and know that, hey, if I don't work, guess what? I'm going to be able to bring the economy to its knees. That is real power. It's the only power we have. Which, again, is why the media is saying, oh, this inflation, terrible, bad thing. Joe Biden, break the strike. Which, again, so far, he's like, no, I'm not getting involved, which is good. But here's the thing, right? They talk about inflation. Remember, inflation is one of the reasons the ILA says we need to strike, because we can't afford things anymore. And half the inflation that we saw during the pandemic was because of corporate greed. Okay? So companies brought this on themselves. They can't just sit there and expect to be able to raise prices and not have the places that are unionized and having, the unions not fight back and say, well, we need we need to get paid more then. If you want us to buy your goods and be able to afford to exist in this economy, then you're going to have to pay us more, okay? You can't just sit there and hike up all the prices and then stick the money in your pocket. That's not going to fly here, okay? So the reason that I'm making sure to let you guys know that is because you're going to see a lot of gaslighting here into hating the workers, into blaming the workers for actually striking. Yes, it's going to be inconvenient. Of course, strikes generally are. But at the end of the day, this is for all of our benefit, rising tide is going to lift all of our boats. All right. I know, talking about longshoremen and boats, but it kind of makes sense, that analogy. Again, union power is a reason why we had higher wages to begin with. And the lack of union power and the lack of strikes that are effective and membership in these unions is why we've seen the great divergence between productivity. We're more productive than we've ever been in this country before, but wages have not kept up with that productivity. And so labor power is the only way to try to bring that back into parity. Okay, these companies can absolutely afford to pay their workers better and to stop trying to replace them with machines. And it's about time that labor knows that, realizes that, and uses the only leverage they have to be able to make that happen. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please like, share, subscribe, hit the bell icon in order to get notified whenever a new video is released. And if you want to support independent, progressive media through this difficult time where it seems like everybody is shutting down, you can become a member on our YouTube page, you can become a subscriber on Facebook, or you can go to my Patreon. It's patreon.com/Jeff Waldorf. Thank you.